June 1944. Inside a heavily fortified underground bunker in Berlin, Germany, Adolf Hitler and his top military generals are crowded around a massive map of the European coastline. The Allied armies are preparing to launch a massive invasion to liberate Europe, and the German High Command is desperate to know exactly where the attack will land. Every spy network the Germans have inside Britain points to a single location, a narrow stretch of beach in Pas-de-Calais. The German generals trust this information completely because it comes from their absolute best secret agent. His code name is Agent Alaric. According to his highly detailed reports, a massive force of 1 million Allied soldiers, thousands of tanks, and hundreds of ships is gathering right across the water from Pas-de-Calais, commanded by America's most aggressive general, George Patton. Acting on these reports, Hitler orders his elite tank divisions to rush to Pas-de-Calais, leaving the rest of the coastline poorly defended. But the massive army General Patton is commanding does not exist. The tanks are made of inflatable rubber, the barracks are empty canvas tents, and the radio chatter is completely fake. Agent Alaric isn't a loyal Nazi spy at all. His real name is Juan Pujol García, a former Spanish poultry farmer who is working directly for British intelligence under the secret code name Agent Garbo. If the German counterintelligence teams spot even one flaw in his massive web of lies, the real Allied fleet sailing toward Normandy will be completely destroyed on the beaches. Garbo is executing the most complex, psychologically intense double-agent operation in human history, and the fate of the free world is resting on his ability to tell a perfect lie. This was the story of Agent Garbo. It remains one of the most brilliant and dangerous deception operations ever pulled off. It was a silent, psychological war where a single man managed to build an entire imaginary spy network out of thin air, completely blinding the most ruthless dictatorship on Earth. To understand how a regular Spanish citizen ended up controlling the destiny of World War II, you have to look at his profound hatred for totalitarian regimes. Juan Pujol García had witnessed the horrors of fascism firsthand during the Spanish Civil War. He decided he wanted to help Britain fight Nazi Germany, believing it was his moral duty. But when he walked into the British embassy in Madrid to offer his services as a spy, the British officials looked at his lack of experience, laughed, and turned him away. Most people would have given up, but Pujol was incredibly determined. He realized that if the British wouldn't hire him, he would have to force them to. He decided to travel to Lisbon, Portugal, and trick the German intelligence agency, the Abwehr, into hiring him as a Nazi spy instead. Pujol approached a German agent, claiming he was a fanatical, pro-Nazi Spanish government official who traveled to London regularly for business. The Germans swallowed his story, gave him advanced training in invisible ink, handed him a mountain of cash, and ordered him to move to Britain to recruit an elite network of spies. But Pujol didn't go to Britain. He didn't even speak English. Instead, he stayed safely inside a hotel room in Lisbon, Portugal. Armed with nothing but a public library card, a map of England, a tourist guidebook, and a collection of British train timetables, he began writing highly detailed, completely fabricated espionage reports. He made up stories about movements of British troops, sending them to his German handlers via a complex mailing system. His fake reports were so convincing that the German High Command started making major military adjustments based entirely on his letters. Meanwhile, British intelligence intercepted these German communications and realized a brilliant ghost spy was running circles around the Nazis. They quickly tracked Pujol down, realized his genius, and officially brought him into MI5 under the codename Agent Garbo. Now backed by the full power of British intelligence, Garbo's operation exploded in scale. He told his German handlers that he had successfully moved to London and was actively recruiting sub-agents to help him gather top-secret data. Over the next 2 years, Garbo created an entirely fictional network of 27 distinct fake spies. He gave each fake agent a unique personality, a specific job, and a clear motivation for helping the Nazis. There was a disgruntled Venezuelan diplomat, an anti-British Welsh extremist, and a corrupt pilot who traveled international flight routes. Garbo wrote hundreds of letters, carefully mixing real public information with completely harmless military secrets to keep his handlers hooked. To ensure the Germans never discovered the truth, MI5 helped Garbo stage fake events. If a German spy report needed to look real, the British military would deliberately delay a train or create artificial smoke over a harbour to match whatever Garbo had typed in his letters. The German government trusted Garbo so completely that they stopped sending other spies into Britain, relying entirely on his phantom network to tell them what the Allies were planning. The ultimate lie: by early 1944, the Allied leadership was ready to launch Operation Overlord, the massive D-Day invasion of Normandy. To give the soldiers a fighting chance against the fortified German defenses, the Allies needed the Germans to believe the real attack was going to happen somewhere else. This massive deception plan was called Operation Fortitude, and Garbo was the central weapon. Garbo began flooding German intelligence with reports about a completely fake military force named the 1st US Army Group. He convinced his handlers that this massive army was stationed in southeast England, directly across from Pas-de-Calais. He explained that any activity the Germans saw in Normandy was just a small, clever distraction designed to pull German forces away from the true target. On the night of June 5, 1944, as the massive Allied fleet secretly advanced toward the beaches of Normandy, Garbo prepared his masterstroke. He sent an urgent, high-priority encrypted message to his German handlers in Berlin. He told them to pay absolute attention to Normandy the next morning, but warned them again that it was a fake diversion. He stated that the real, devastating blow would hit Pas-de-Calais a few days later. The deception worked perfectly. When the Allied troops stormed the beaches of Normandy on June 6th, General Hitler refused to send his nearby armored tank divisions to reinforce the area. He kept his best troops stationed at Pas-de-Calais for 7 critical weeks, waiting for a phantom army that would never arrive. By the time the German command realized they had been fooled, the Allies had already secured Europe. The aftermath: Juan Pujol García achieved something completely unique in human history. His deception was so incredibly perfect that the German government never realized they had been tricked. In a stunning twist of irony, awarded him the Iron Cross, Germany's highest military honor, for his exceptional service to the Reich. A few months later, the King of England secretly awarded him the Order of the British Empire for saving thousands of Allied lives. After the war, fearing revenge from surviving Nazi cells, Garbo faked his own death with the help of MI5, moving to a quiet town in Venezuela to live in absolute anonymity as a bookstore owner. The story of Agent Garbo showed that the outcome of the greatest war in history wasn't decided solely by firepower or economic might. It proved that a single man, armed with nothing but absolute courage and a brilliant mind, could defeat an empire using the invisible power of a perfect lie. What do you think about this incredible psychological operation? Does it amaze you that a single man managed to win the highest military medals from both sides of World War II? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. If you found this high-stakes story of deception fascinating, make sure to hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to Black Box Doc so you never miss our next deep dive into hidden history. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.